Hello, Gemini. Thank you for tuning into your relationship read. No, your love read. Your love read. We're going to do the relationships first. Main read is going to be done with the Modern Spellcaster's Tarot by Melanie Marquis, illustrated by Scott Murphy. Supportive oracle cards are going to be by the Angel Answers Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. Relationship first, single second, and the oracle cards come out as needed. Okay. I shuffled these cards and shuffled them because there's one card that's been popping up here. That's it? Really? Alright, so I was gonna be flat out honest with you. The Devil card has been like popping up since I did Capricorn, and it is just all over the place. Which, it's gonna come out if it wants to. It's just I was shuffling and shuffling, thinking, haha, I can hide it, or nope. I don't know why I even thought that, quite frankly. Now, where we're starting with in this relationship read is you're here. You're the Eight of Swords. I'm getting like under fire. You're kind of under fire here, and you're just kind of like, I feel like you're just kind of like looking at your partner like, are you gonna stop anytime soon? Like, what's the deal? Like, can you just back off? And I just feel it keeps coming and coming, and I don't feel like you can really do much about it. You're just waiting for them to stop. Now, they're pulling me to this. Here's the Devil card, which I've been trying to. It's here. It's here. This is where your partner's standing. Now, I'm just getting it's verbal for most of you. That's what I'm feeling it is. And you have to decide what's going on, how it should be handled. Granted, if it gets, I don't know, there's one thing about, you have to decide for yourself, because I'm getting like there's a lot of different ways this could be going. I feel like you have to evaluate your own relationship to decide if this is really a problem or not. Hopefully you have somebody to talk to about this if this is getting really over the top. Because I'm getting some of them are just, the reason the Devil card is here is because it's relentless. It's just constantly arguing, constantly coming at you and giving you a hard time. But I just feel like it's one of those times where nothing you do is right. Everything you do is wrong. That's what I'm connecting to for this reading. And that's why I'm connecting it with the Eight of Swords for you. It's just like you can't seem to do anything right. And it's not that you can't seem to do anything right. It's that they just seem to keep pushing on you. Like, you could be doing 5 different things. 4 of them are right. The one that's wrong could be just minimally wrong, but they're, like, zeroing in and, like, blowing it up out of proportion. Like, I just feel like somebody's having, like... When I'm getting the Devil card here, it's just like they're coming at you, and it's just really out of focus. It's just way over the top. It's not really true. In the sense of like when they're coming at you and they're complaining, like they're over accentuating something small is what I'm feeling. And I'm getting these 2 cards with this because you got Ask Your Angels and Remain Positive. Remain positive for a way out of this. Ask your angels, like you might want to really meditate on this. Is this a normal situation, and to what level is this really hitting? Is this a bad habit that keeps happening on occasion, or is this just one of those times where it's just nothing you do is right and it's just they're having a moment? Moments happen, but if it's a way of life, that's a problem. And I feel like for some of you, this is a way of life, and that's really not acceptable. For others of you, it's just a moment. Hopefully it's just a moment in your case, and it's something that, needs to move on. Because I'm kind of getting here, you're standing with the 7 of... Is it the 7 of Swords? Yeah. So you got the 8 of Swords where you just can't seem to get away from it. But, like, you're trying to. It's like you're stuck in it. What's actually happening is you can't seem to escape, but you're trying to. You're trying to distance yourself from the tyranny. I just feel like that's what you're constantly trying to do, but it's not really working. It's not really happening. Now, I'm also getting there's like, well, they're pulling this back here. Some of you are like taking a vacation from your partner. I'm getting you're finding a way to get away from them for a while. Because it's getting too much. It's getting too much. Something here is bothering me about this. Like, I feel like you need somebody else to talk to go through what's actually happening. And I do feel like some distance might be necessary just so you can get yourself in order, so you can decide what's really right here and what's not. Because I'm getting that you're stepping away, and spiritually you really have to look at the truth of the situation. Which is interesting for the Nine of Pentacles, because in this situation I feel like you're away from the situation, you're in a place that's safe. You're taking a vacation from this relationship in a spot where you feel safe, you feel comfortable, you don't feel like somebody's going to attack you however way that's happening. And you're having to look at the relationship for the truth of it. What is really happening here? And is this acceptable? And I'm getting, when you're doing this, your partner is also taking time to really think about what's going on, because I feel like they're looking at what's happening, and I feel like when they're like really taking stock, like, how do they feel when you're not around? How is this situation really unfolding? Like, is this starting to unravel? Is it something that seems solid that really is not? Like, what is the truth here? Because I feel like as you're stepping away and taking a truthful look at the situation, your partner's like forced in almost like a timeout to like really think, like, what do I want here? What's really going to happen? Because it's like giving them the clue. And see, I'm getting another card. This is spiritual. Their spiritual card that matches yours is the Hermit. This is important. They need to really think about what's happening here. Because I feel like they've been unrelenting on you. And they need to really decide, is this a relationship I want to honor, or is this really not something I'm happy in? Because I feel like even though they keep coming at you and it's kind of like aggressive, I feel like they really need to think, like, is that the type of relationship they want? Is this really acceptable? Or what is the reason that they're doing that? I feel like they're getting to, like, these two cards together, like, it goes from the Four to the Hermit is counter to what I'm getting here. The Four is because you're stepping away, and they're kind of forced to really realize, what life is like when you're not around. And then the second part of this is the Hermit. They have to look at it a little closer and be like, why am I like this? Why am I attacking my partner like this? Why am I doing that? And I feel like they're coming to terms with like what's going to happen if they don't correct that. Are we good? Okay. Now we got 4 cards here that seem to be talking about something, and I'm trying to figure out where we're going. Because out of the 4 cards, 3 of them are aces and 1 of them is the World card. So there's a change here. There is a change. Your partner's... I'm getting your partner... The challenge is for them to take action and correct what's wrong. They need to take stock of their own emotions and how they're handling them. Because it's not just about the situation, it's how they're handling the situation. For example, if there is something that really bothers them that you're doing, the way they're handling it is not right. They need to, like, de-stress from it. They need to deconstruct it. For example, say you're a little late, and that's a normal thing for you. Then they need to deconstruct that. And, they need to find ways around that. Because, like, if that's just who you are, there's, like, some people, like my father was like that. You could depend on him to be late. It's just how it was. And everybody in my family just kind of worked around it. Like, if you know something's not going to change, then you got to work around it. You can't just constantly start yelling at somebody when it's not creating a change. And I feel like that's what they're taking action on. They need to address, like, all right, this is what I don't like. Is there really a way to change that? And if there's not, what do they need to do to get more comfortable with it? For example, I don't know why I'm saying this, but whatever. For example, my father, we would either invite him to be there an hour early or we would have extra things. Like, for example, if we were supposed to be at the movies at, 7 or something like that, we would do it so we would stop and get a quick bite to eat first. That way, if we were running too late, we could just cut out the quick bite to eat first and still make the movie on time. We do things like that. And I feel like that's what needs to happen here if that's the case. Something needs to be, an option needs to be put in there to where, this is what we like to do. Well, we're short on time, so we're going to skip that and go right to the main event. Like, things like that. There's ways to work around this, which I feel people, especially when it comes to something like that, like my father being late, there's ways to work around it that people might not see right off the bat. But, for example, if there's something your partner really doesn't like, and it's just who you are, there's nothing changing about that, they need to find a different way to handle it and not just have freakouts. And I'm getting that's their challenge, to take action to do that. Now, your side here, I'm getting the world. The world is on your side for your challenge card. What's been going on needs to stop. And I'm getting that very strongly here. Because I feel like it's really disempowering for you. I believe that's a real word. I do think that's a real word. Like, it's not, it can't keep going like this. And the reason this is in your challenge card, this is in your challenge position, and it's your challenge card, whatever, is because I feel like you need to have this talk with your partner. Like, your partner needs to accept what the situation is, but I feel like you need to go forward with them too. The two of you need to honestly talk about it. For example, if it is, maybe you're just one of those people that's late. I don't know if that's true, but it's what's popping into my head. And you just know that's how it is. The two of you need to have an honest conversation about that and how you're going to handle that. And I feel like you bringing forth ideas to handle it, like trying to get somewhere an hour early and trying to be early instead of like on time or something like that, and like planning other things. Like, there must be a way to do this. And I'm getting like this might be a more difficult thing than it seems. I'd like to say that would work, but I'm not confident. So what are we going for here? They're telling me this, you can't allow this to keep going like this. And I'm getting the world, they're taking it in a different direction. Like, you can't accept it anymore. You can address your shortcomings, but you can also, like, I don't know, I don't like that though. I really don't like that. I feel like this just, you are who you are, and if they are really that unhappy with how the situation is, maybe this isn't going to work out. And I don't feel this is going to end, but I feel like maybe you need to put that forward, and maybe that's your challenge here, to say, you know what, we either have to fix this, or this is gonna come to an end at some point. That's why the world is your challenge card, because you can't accept this anymore. And I feel like, I don't want to say ultimatum, but I think it kind of is the way it's coming across. If this doesn't correct and we don't find a way to if we don't find a different way to handle this, this is going to lead, sooner or later, it's going to lead to the demise of this relationship. So I feel like you need to put that forward. Excuse me. Now, that's your partner. Your partner has this ace for their challenge card. You have the world for your challenge card. What comes next is you both have aces. Your partner has the Ace of Swords, which is very conducive with the other card that they have there. And you have the Ace of Pentacles. I'm getting, you're making this statement and you're sticking to it and you mean it. And I'm getting your partner is also moving forward with a different way to handle the situation. I feel like they get it. Like, I feel the love is here, and this is the big thing, because they understand and they hear you. This is why you stepped away. And I feel like the point, you made some type of point, like this time it was a temporary thing. Next time it might be permanent, because you pushed me so far that I just couldn't even breathe. And I understand you don't like some of these things about me, but these are things that you've known this the whole time. And I'm not your whipping post, or whatever you want to call it. You can't do that to me. So I'm getting between the two of you, you're holding to that. You're like, you know what, I'm serious. Like, I feel like you're standing up for yourself, but not like, I don't feel like it's very aggressive, but like, you're just kind of giving your partner a look, like making sure they're not coming at you. And I feel like they're going forward and they're handling things a different way. Okay, I'm getting this better. Your partner is making changes. For example, if it's the time thing and you're late, if that's the thing, what you're doing differently is for example, they want you to get there an hour early. So you're holding to that. You're trying to get there an hour early. If they are doing like other things, like before we go to the movies, we're going to stop and get a bite to eat. You're trying to make that happen, but you realize, that might fall through, but the main event is the big deal. Like you're not like, you're not like hearing like they want you to be there an hour early, like it's an option. You're hearing they want to be there an hour early, and you're trying to do it, and it's working out. So you're holding to your side of the bargain to try to make it work out. You're working with it the best you can, and they're holding to their side, and they're just trying to work with you. Because it's interesting, because I'm getting like you guys are working together, but I don't feel like this is hitting exactly the way it needs to here, because I feel like they're moving forward trying to make things better, and you're holding to that agreement. So however that's working out, the two of you are working out very well this way. These are the first steps to making the situation better, because as it goes forward, what makes things even better than that, your partner seems to get a hold of that pinnacle energy that you got going on, and they're using this. They're changing things. Like, I feel like they're adapting to the new method of doing things, and for example, if it's like inviting you somewhere an hour early, they're not telling you that it's an hour early. For example, if the movie's at 7, they're telling you the movie's at 6. And they're just like they're working it through, and I feel like you're fine with that. You're like, it works, whatever. Or like one other thing we used to do is, for example, if there was more than one showing, we would find like, for example, say there was a showing at 8:10 and there was a showing at 7:30. We'd try to get there for the 7:30, but if we missed the 7:30, we still had the 8:10 to go to, like things like that. I'm getting they're working with that. Like, this is an analogy, clearly, but they're running with that. Because I feel like that's taking a lot of stress off of both of you. Like, it's like you opened the door, you showed them a good way to handle this, you're honoring that, they're taking it and running with it. I feel like this is improving the situation. Now, I do feel like you're a little, like you have the Queen of Cups on the opposite of the Knight of Pentacles. Your partner, I feel like they're kind of like, they're playing it a little dodgy, but it's not a big deal. I feel like you're keeping it to yourself because you see what they're doing. You're well aware that they're either inviting you an hour early or you know that they're playing these little games, but you're just keeping it to yourself. You're like, that's fine, that's good. I mean, it's working out. It's a lot less stressful. And to you, it's almost like a little game. I feel like you're kind of having fun with it. Like, for you, it's like you're holding to it. You don't want them to know you know the game, but you also have a lot of fun trying to figure out the game at the same time. Really? That's interesting. Because I feel like your partner's doing these little things, but you're seeing it, and you're having fun just figuring out what they're doing. You're holding to it. You have a twofold thing that's really kind of, it's almost like titillating you a little bit. One, to stay in line with it without them realizing you're staying in line with it. But two, you like to you're trying to figure out the game, and you're just kind of like, you're like researching or listening or just trying to find out what they're doing, how they're trying to circumvent the situation. Like, are they inviting me early? Is there more than one showtime? Like, I feel like you're actually kind of enjoying it, and it's kind of titillating to you. You're like, I know what you're doing, and I'm just going to play along like you don't know that I know what you're doing. I feel like you're having fun with it. I feel like this is a big stress relief for you. You feel a lot better. Your mind is engaged because you're like, what is he doing? Or he or she or them, whoever your partner is, you're just like, what are they doing? What are they doing? I'm going to figure it out. But I'm not going to let them know I figured it out. Like, I feel like you're really engaged with this. And the way the two of you come together is the Knight of Cups. Like, the two of you are having a lot of fun with this. I feel this is very interesting because your partner seems to be having fun, like finding creative ways to get you there on time, if that's the thing. Like, that's one of the things. They're like having fun being creative that way. And you're having fun not letting them know that they're doing that, but also figuring out what they're doing. You're keeping it to yourself, but you're figuring it out, and you're having fun with it. I feel like you're just having fun with it. And like, it's almost like a secret between the two of you from each other, but it's a harmless one that's actually like improving the situation. I feel like you like it. As it goes forward. Is it good? Okay. So that is the Gemini relationship. You know, for the Devil card popping up, that actually worked out a lot better, because I was kind of wondering for a second there, although those cards were over there, so I should have kind of known, but just because a good card pops up doesn't mean things are going to work out great, I found. Excuse me. Let's do Gemini singles. Messages for Gemini singles. Okay. Cards are a little bit difficult. Let's see if we can roll a couple more. Here's hoping that one card stays out of the picture. Alright, Gemini singles. You didn't pop out in this part, so that's good. Gemini singles. A different read I was doing, I was like, I don't want him to show up, and it was the first card that popped up, and I'm like, this is my own fault. Empowering messages. All right. Well, Gemini singles. This little spot here seems to be the strongest. In the past, you have the Ace of Cups. And at the top here, you have the Hanged Man with the ask for help from others. I'm getting there's been like, I feel like it's an on-off thing or something like that. There's some type of emotional connection with somebody from the past. And it feels like you'd like to pull it into the present and cement it into the future, but it doesn't seem reliable. And when I get to ask for help from others, I feel like there's more information about this person. You need more information about this person, because I'm getting that this person doesn't seem reliable, or they're not really, something is just like there's a mystery to it, which I feel is part of the draw. But I feel like you need to find, when it says ask for help from others, like even if you're just like, even if you don't have friends in common, let's put it that way, like social media or just like trying to find out what's going on, like there has to be a way to get more information. It may be even the sense of like maybe you have to run this by somebody else, one of your friends, about what's going on with this person, what you're seeing, what you know, and maybe they can help you get a better idea about what's really happening here. Because this person's like a little bit aloof and not, like I feel like there's a mystery here that is a little bit, enticing to you, but I feel like it's also keeping you from going forward. Like that's why the Hanged Man is here, because that mystery is also keeping you away from this person. And I feel like they're coming close and they're moving back and forth. How close they're getting, that depends on your situation, but like they're coming close to moving back, coming close, moving back. And I don't know if it's just the ebb and flow or just how you're experiencing them, but it's definitely like stronger at times, weaker at others. Stronger at times, weaker at others. And it could be connected to your intensity of interest, because I feel like they might be more titillating to you. I don't know why that word is on my tongue today. At times and less at others, but they're just kind of out of sight, out of mind. Because I feel like at this point they're coming towards you again. You got the Star card with the Four of Pentacles. I feel like it's like, again, they're coming close, but not close enough. The Star card is making me feel like you have hope, like, oh, maybe something can happen. Maybe we could go forward with something. But the Four of Pentacles is like, they're just coming so close, and like it's almost like there's a window between you, and you don't see it, kind of like a fun house, when those windows are there and you can't see them, and you kind of bump into it. I feel like that's kind of what's happening here. It's kind of like, oh, I think something might happen this time. Donk, right into the window. Because they're still holding back. I get this happens. Something like, that's the analogy, but I feel like it's kind of like that. And you got the Seven of Pentacles. What is that about? The Seven of Pentacles is telling me that you're looking at this like, well, that's nothing new. Like, that's just how this goes with this person. Like, just so far, and then nothing. They're saying to stop with this card. Why are we stopping? Like this, they're telling me this needs to stop. Because the Seven of Pentacles is at the base here. This is kind of grounded in how this situation with this person is going. It's too grounded. Like I feel like you've accepted it, and that means it's not good. That means it's gonna kind of linger going forward. I feel like it's lingering. And I'm getting this is better to walk away than to keep going in this weird circle. I feel like you need to find a way to detach your emotions from this. just for argument's sake, like one of my favorite authors, which I don't have stock in, but I feel I should, is Paul McKenna. He's a British author. I Can Mend Your Broken Heart, which his titles, they seem a little hokey to me, but his information is good. I've used it. And you could actually, detach yourself from this person if you don't want to really feel that. Instead of it ebbing and flowing, you could just ebb away and done. If that's what you want to do, which I'm feeling. They're telling me this needs to stop. This ebb and flow, even though the emotion's there, I'm getting for some of you, this is like a hookup once in a great while with somebody that you like. But I'm getting like this isn't serving you. This is not good. This is keeping you from what you actually want in life. It's more like a deterrent. It's almost like a pit stop that keeps happening, almost like you're going in a circle. Instead of getting off this circle and heading out in the direction to find what you want, just about the time you're supposed to head out of the circle, you make that pit stop again and you end up in another round around the circle, and you pit stop, you make another round around the circle. They're like, get out of the circle. The circle's not helping you. It's not giving you what you really want. I am going to acknowledge that in your thoughts, like, I feel like you do have emotions for this person, even though it ebbs and flows, and sometimes it's stronger than others. You would like it to work. You would. I just don't see that happening. And they're telling me, you might feel like this is going to break your heart, but you also realize you'll get over it. I'm getting that it may not break your heart as much as you think. I feel like if, for example, you do those exercises, within a week or two, you might move on a lot quicker than you're expecting. Because I don't feel like this person's really cemented into your actual life. It's more of the thought than the reality here. You might move on a lot easier than you think. Even if there's like a kindred soul connection, those connections never get damaged, in my opinion. Like they resurface, and when the next time around comes, it's not a problem. So I wouldn't worry about that. And just to give you a little insight about the other person, they have the Ten of Wands. Like, there's a lot of burdens with this person. I feel like they're making poor choices due to all these burdens. And I don't feel like they're truly interested in you, to be fair. I feel like they're more looking for an escape. And you're kind of their de-stress, especially if it's coming around as a hookup once in a while. Because I'm getting like this person is trying to escape stress. They're not looking to... They're not interested in a relationship. And I'm not feeling they're actually even considering you in that context. It's almost like, I feel like, I don't like the way this sounds, but this is how it's honestly coming through. So I apologize if this is offensive. It's almost like somebody who plays video games to escape. Like they're treating you like a video game. And I don't like that. I feel like that's really degrading, and I apologize for that, but they're giving me that analogy. Like they're not looking at you like a human. They're looking at you like an activity that just helps them forget their stress. Which, if this is hitting, I feel like that might be a little bit harsh, but they're trying to make a point here. That this person is not looking out for you. This person is not concerned about how things are feeling for you. You honestly... I feel like you would be more concerned about what's happening for them because you're more relationship oriented with this person, but they're not matching that thought. Not that they're incapable of it. They're not looking at you in that direction. And for some of them, just to be fair, a lot of them I feel they don't realize they're actually doing that. So they're not purposely just looking to use you, but I feel like they're using you. I don't feel like they address it on that level. And in fact, if you called some of them out, they would deny it and they would argue with you about it. But if you really got them to go push to shove, like how often do they think about how your feelings are affected, they would probably be like, well, it's just a moment. Like neither of our emotions are in it. And even if you said, well, my emotions are, they're like, well, I don't know why. We're hardly ever seeing each other. Like I feel like you'd get a fight about that. I don't know why we're going down this road, but just so you know. But I'm still getting, like, they're really not considering how things are affecting you. They're not considering you in a long term in any sense. See, I feel like that might be the wheel, because you seem to be standing with the wheel, and I feel like this is where your wheel needs to turn, and it needs to turn you away from this situation. I know that it's stereotypical of this card that the wheel either turns for good or for bad. I'm getting... You need to decide if you're going to turn yourself away from this situation and make it a good turn away where you are empowered, or if it's going to take a bad turn where you kind of just wait for it to come to a slow screeching the gravel to where you're like you got road rash that you have to pick yourself up from. So I feel like it's like the wheel is turning. The situation has to move on. The situation needs to end. I really do feel that. But it's up to you whether it's going to be a more pleasant or painful situation. Because the wheel is turning. I feel like your interpretation of how it's turning, like this person is not going to be in your life. I'm not getting that at all. And it's up to you to make this either easier on you or harder on you. So I guess technically you have your own version of if that's good or bad. I feel like it's turning towards truth. If that means anything to me, turning towards truth would be a good thing. Truth to let you know what's actually happening here. Because they're telling me within the next year, one way or another, you will move on. I'm getting this part right here is optional. You don't have to hold on for a year. That's a big thing here. And like this card is very subjective. Like I give this analogy all the time. Where I'm from, Christmas is a big thing here. So, for example, I remember especially when I was a kid, just to be honest, when September started, if somebody asked me how far Christmas was away, I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's a lifetime away. It's never going to happen. In truth, it was like 3 months away. It's not far. Like as an adult, I'm like, well, that's not far away. So to me, as a kid, September to December, that 3 month period, that would be this card, because to me it feels like a lifetime. It feels like a year. So that's what I'm saying. This is subjective. It could go. I have seen this card go after a year, 2.5 years is the most I've actually ever seen it going. But it's basically just letting you know there's a good amount of time here that's going to feel like a while. So the point is, you are going to walk away. You could hold it off for a good while. You could. The thing is, you will end up walking away at some point because this is not going to serve you. Life will bring forth harsher reminders if they have to what's really happening here. The advice is to make it easy on yourself and just accept it for what it is. Move on. Get out of this circle. Head towards something that you actually want that will actually make you happy. Granted, it's a general read. You have to decide for yourself whether this is hitting for you or not. Because the last card I see, new horizons are opening for you. Granted, it's the Fool card. I usually see the Fool card as a positive thing, and I'm getting like you have all these new aspirations. Once you let go of this person, somebody else is a possibility. I'm getting, though, you might want to take stock in what happened in this situation after you've moved on from it, how it started, what it was. For example, if it was just kind of like friends with benefits, for example, that works for some people, not for others. If this situation were started off with a friends with benefits situation, maybe that's not the best way for you to start if you're looking for a relationship. Because what I'm getting with this reading is that the people this is hitting for, if that came out with my mouth correctly, you're relationship oriented and you actually want a relationship. And they're telling me that friends with benefits isn't going to cut it. Don't do that, because you're liable to end up just somebody's side interest and never move beyond that. You know what I mean? You might end up just being like a friend with benefit permanently, and that's it. And they're saying if that's what you want, if you want something with just, you don't want a relationship and you just want to be on the side, then that's your business. That's cool. That's totally your business. If you're relationship oriented and you want to go that direction, they're telling me don't do that friends with benefits. Don't do that for now, at least, because you're in danger of ending up with a couple more situations like that where you just end up in the friend zone with a little bit of benefit and it doesn't really go beyond it. So be careful. That's the only warning with that Fool card. Like, it's good to be optimistic and very enthusiastic, but like you might want to set your own boundaries. If you want a relationship, don't accept a friends with benefits situation. Don't go that direction, because you might end up just living in that situation again. You might repeat the same situation you just got out of. And why do that? Because it's not making you happy. Okay, good? Done. All right, I'm going to wrap that up there. Thank you for watching. Of course, if you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.